Hey guys, what's up? What's happening? The King of Games 98 here. How you doing? Hope you all are doing good and staying safe. And I'm gonna try to speak louder in this video because I've had a few comments in some of my past recent videos saying that I didn't speak loud enough, and some people while watching my videos had a hard time hearing me. So this is me speaking louder, but I don't want you to interpret this as me yelling at you. I am speaking louder. Cool. Okay. So I had the idea to make this video a while back ago, and I thought it would be a really good video and make really good content, especially for my YouTube gaming channel. And I unfortunately never sat down and recorded the idea I had for this video until now. This is going to be the story how I saved this NES 101 top loader console from being thrown out in the trash. Oh yes, you heard me right, from being thrown out in the trash. Okay, so basically this video is just going to be me telling you guys that story because I still am a little just blown away and dumbfounded that this even happened. But the fact that it did happen makes a freaking amazing story, and I thought I would share that story with you guys on my YouTube channel because, excuse me, it is gaming related. And I really think it makes for a good video. Or, well, let me rephrase that. I think the story makes for a really good video. So without further ado, guys, this is going to be my story of how I saved this NES 101 top loader from being thrown out in the trash. Okay, so first, I gotta take you back, because this didn't just happen recently. I gotta take you back in time to around when I think this happened. It was definitely before the pandemic. So you got to figure that's 2-3-ish years. I'm thinking this happened 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 5. But I don't think it was any longer than 5 years ago. So I'm thinking 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 tops. Now, to get a good visual idea, I live on a cul-de-sac. So I live at the end of the cul-de-sac where the road turns into a circle and then goes back. I live at the end of the cul-de-sac on the circle part of the cul-de-sac. So 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, our neighbors who lived directly across from us, their mom passed away, sadly. And it was 3 brothers. And the one lived somewhere in Pennsylvania, and the other 2 still lived in their original house. Now, unfortunately, the 2 that lived in their original house, they were, how would I say this? I don't want to offend anyone here. They had some mental disabilities. I'll phrase it like that. They were a little off. But they were still great people. And they were great neighbors to us. And we always, they took care of us multiple times. We looked after them multiple times. It was a good relationship we had between them. But when their mom passed away, they didn't know what to do. And what ended up happening was the 2 brothers who still lived in their original house decided they were going to get moved. They were going to move and go somewhere else. They kind of suited them better. So what happened was they got one of those big dumpsters dropped onto their driveway, and they just filled it with stuff that basically they couldn't take with them. And they called us over 2 or maybe 3 different times and said, you can come look through our stuff. If there's anything you want, take it, because we can't take this. And I thought that was really nice and cool of them to do. Besides video games, they had a lot of movies on DVD. I mean a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean I got the whole entire Buffy the Vampire Slayer series on DVD. I think that was what, 8, 9 seasons? Something like that? Or 10 seasons? I don't know. But I got that whole series on DVD. That's how many movies and TV shows on DVD they were throwing out. And I saved them from the trash as well. But after they let us dig through what movies they had and were getting rid of on DVD and TV shows, they had another, or I should say not another, they filled another dumpster or two of random stuff that they couldn't take with them. And I'll never forget this. I don't remember what day it was, but one morning when I found out that they had put new stuff out in the dumpster on their driveway, I got up early, I threw some clothes on, and I walked directly across the street and dug through the dumpster. And it was trash day that day, and I specifically remember that I could hear the trash truck coming, but I beat the trash truck before it was going to take the stuff. Actually, come to think of it, you know what? I think that morning, I don't think the stuff was still in the dumpster in the driveway. I think it was just big black trash bags full of stuff at the curb. Yeah, that was it. And I had noticed them, but I noticed that they were just put out and they weren't there, day or two ago. So I was like, you know what? It might be worth me going and digging through them and seeing what's in them. And that was what I did one morning that I woke up early, and it was trash day that morning, and I started digging through the bags. Well, lo and behold, I found 2 Sega Genesis Model 2 consoles. It was just the bare bones consoles. I don't think they had any cords with them. And then I found some games. And then I found some controllers. And then lo and behold, I found this beautiful NES 101 top loader console in a bag with its original official Nintendo brand power supply, an RF switch box, not one, but 2 dog bone official Nintendo branded controllers, and its original instruction manual still intact. It's a little bent, but it is still fully intact. You can flip through the pages and still look at them. I did a double take. I thought I was dreaming or imagining this. My eyes lit up at seeing this NES 101 top loader, and just I was in sheer disbelief. I was like asking myself, is this really happening right now? Is that an NES 101 top loader? Sure as shit, it was. And so what I did was, they had some cardboard boxes at the curb too. So I started filling the stuff, I started filling a cardboard box of the stuff I wanted in the box, and I could hear the trash truck coming. So I knew I had to move quick. And it was mainly just NES stuff that I saw and Sega Genesis stuff. Like, the majority of the games weren't really anything good or worth value. It was mainly sports games, because you see all 3 of those brothers were really big into sports: baseball, football, basketball, hockey, all that stuff. So the majority of the games they had on Sega Genesis, from what I remember, were sports games. I still took them because like I couldn't bring myself to see them get thrown in the trash. So I still grabbed them, and of the games that I saw and took and saved from the trash, two came to mind that are very rare and that I found and also saved from going in the trash along with this NES 101 top loader. The first is Konami's Sunset Riders on Sega Genesis, which I'm going to do close-up shots of this because this guy is 100% complete in box. And guys, this game is just in like new condition. Like this is one of the nicest and cleanest Sega Genesis games I think I own, guys. So that was the one high dollar valuable game that I saved from also getting thrown out in the trash. And the other game comes in the form of a Game Boy game. And I know what you're probably thinking, most original Game Boy games are not worth anything or valuable, except for maybe the Pokemon games. Well, I got one right here that will prove you wrong. This is Ninja Gaiden Shadow on original Game Boy. I'm going to do close-up shots of this too. Now, for those of you who know me well, I love ninja video games. I love Ninja Gaiden, and in fact, Sega's Shinobi video game series is by far one of my favorite ninja video game series of all time. Now, prior to finding this specific Ninja Gaiden game in the trash, I had never heard of it. I had never heard of this game. All I saw was Ninja Gaiden, and I went, holy crap. And then I saw the word Shadow, and I was like, okay, I don't really know if this is a special version on Game Boy or what. But, guys, I was, like, in shock and awe because it was a Ninja Gaiden game. And I didn't expect them to have this. And I was like, you know what? I'm taking this. And lo and behold, did I know, this is actually a pretty rare game. Before I sat down and recorded this video, guys, I looked up the prices of these two games and the NES 101 top loader console. This Ninja Gaiden game, loose cartridge, is valued at $50. You heard that right. This is a $50 game, guys, loose cartridge only. And I love that they took a little piece of sticky paper and wrote the passwords on the back of this cartridge. Normally, I don't like or keep old stickers on video games. But, guys, I couldn't bring myself to take this one off. And I thought it was just really cool. And so I guess if you have Ninja Gaiden Shadow, you can pause the video right here and write down some of these codes. So I didn't have the heart to take that little piece of paper off the back of this cartridge that has the cheat codes on it, because I just thought it was cool that they did that. And, you know, not only do I have something to remember them by between these games and the console, but I just thought it was cool. Now, the value of Sunset Riders might shock you because this is a $50 game. The value of Sunset Riders. Now you have to keep in mind, this is the Sega Genesis version of Sunset Riders. I believe the Super Nintendo version of Sunset Riders is actually worth a lot more money than this one, but still, I was so grateful and blessed to find this in the trash and save it from being thrown out in the trash that I still couldn't believe that this version of this game, complete in box, right now is worth $140. That's right. Before recording this video, I looked up the values of both games and the NES top loader console. This game is valued at $140 right now, complete in box. I was dumbfounded after saving this and looking it up that this is worth that much money. But then I was so happy and relieved that I was able to find it and save it from being thrown out in the trash. and this is, I already had a great Sega Genesis game collection. You know, not to toot my own horn here, but this just made it so much better and is such a great piece in my Sega Genesis game collection. Okay, so that was me telling you about the 2 games that I saved from the trash. Oh, and you know what? There was another game that just came to my mind. I don't have it right here with me. I'm not going to show it in this video. It's not worth nowhere near as much as those 2 games, but it is a very good game, and it was very popular on the Sega Genesis back in the 90s. And that game that I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is Comix Zone. Yes, Comix Zone. The video game with a comic book art style that is a side-scrolling beat-em-up. Yes, Comix Zone. Here's the thing, though. Unfortunately, unlike Sunset Riders, that copy of Comix Zone was not complete in box. To my understanding, Comix Zone was a late release Sega Genesis game, so it did not come in a nice plastic clamshell case. It came in the red style Sega Genesis cardboard box, which, when it comes to video game collecting, cardboard boxes, especially from the 80s or 90s or even the 70s for that matter, are extremely hard to find these days in 2022. So what I found of Comix Zone was the game cartridge. It was sitting inside the inner red tray part of the red cardboard box, and the outer slipcase of the Sega Genesis cardboard box was missing, which sucked, and I don't remember if its instruction manual was there or not. But me being the big Sega fan that I am, I saw Comix Zone and I immediately went, "Oh man, it's Comix Zone!" And of course, I grabbed that. Now, you know, because I don't have the game and I'm not showing that in this video, off the top of my head, I don't remember what that game is worth. I guess it would be considered a loose cartridge. But I was still blown away by that, you know, because it's freaking Comix Zone. At that point in time, I not only knew of that game, I had already played that game, and I liked that game because I love DC Comics and Marvel, and I am a bit of a comic book collector. So that was a really special game back in the 90s to have on Sega Genesis. So yeah, that was basically the story of how I came to save this beauty from getting thrown out, and those 2 games, and Comix Zone on Sega Genesis. But it doesn't quite end there, because among digging in the big black trash bags that they put to the curb, I also found these 2 controllers that I had to keep and I couldn't bring myself to sell. The first is an SG ProPad 2 controller made by I don't know if it's made by Quality Joystick or made by STD, but either way, that's a horrible name for a company, and you should never name your company STD. But regardless, this controller was in its original box from the 90s. And I don't believe, oh, its instruction manual is in there too, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so I'm gonna do close-up shots of this box and take the actual controller out, because the controller was not new. That was how I found it like that. It was, I don't remember if the controller was in its box or if it was out of its box, but I saw the controller and then I saw its box and I grabbed both because I was like, oh my God, you know, again, I don't want this being thrown out. So SG ProPad 2, digital auto fire setting, LED display panel, 6-button fighting layout, assignable synchro fire, slow motion, and an extra long cord. with its true 6-button design, or with its true 6-button fighting design, you will win. And hopefully not get an STD. Like, this box is just in amazing condition for its age, which I absolutely could not get over the fact that it is from... I actually can't find a year on there. Interesting. Well, I know it's at least from the 90s because it's a Sega Genesis controller, so it is definitely from the 90s. Oh, hold the phone. Okay, I found a date. It is stamped January 7th of 1994 on it. Wow, that's amazing. So I saved this Sega Genesis controller from 1994 in its original box with instruction manual from being thrown in the trash. Like, that is just... That's just blowing my mind. That is absolutely blowing my freaking mind right now. Yeah, like, now, I know that this is not a great name brand controller. Please don't tell me that in the comment section. I already know that. But the fact that it's in its original box with instruction manual from 1994 is just absolutely amazing that it survived that long from 1994. And for the record, I did test this controller way back when I first got it, and it does still work. So that's why I kept it all this time, because, you know, not only, you know, am I a big Sega guy and a Sega collector, but, you know, on top of that, I was like, it still works, and it's a very workable, usable controller if I were to decide to use it. Now I'm not going to be able to get that back in, but that's okay. I still wanted to show it on camera. It's just so cool. And then this is the other controller. This is an actual joystick controller for the NES. I have, up until this point in time, I had never seen one before. And again, it's in its original box. So I'm going to do close-up shots of this guy now, too. Okay, so we have the Quick Shot XII, what is that? 12? Yeah, Quick Shot 12 Deluxe Joystick Controller with original price tag of, I guess it was originally $14.95 and then it was reduced to $11.99. Wow, that's crazy. With 6 deluxe with 6 deluxe positive response micro switches and high-speed auto fire capability. For use with Nintendo Entertainment System. I love how they had to specify 7-pin plug. By SVI Spectra Video. Never heard of them. And I love how one of the selling features is it has micro switches. For superior to the dome switches found in most other joysticks, micro switches are spring-loaded with instantaneous response. And I mean, that is true, but I love how they had to point that out as a selling feature for this. Like, that cracks me up. Now, this box is not in the greatest of condition, but it's still intact from the NES era. Like, where else are you going to find that? Now, sadly, ladies and gentlemen, this controller does not have its original instruction manual, but you know what? Hey, for it being absolutely free, and again, me saving it from being thrown in the trash, I don't even care. It's a cool piece to me to have in my video game collection, especially for NES. And, you know, it's just cool. I really dig it and I like it. And again, when I first saved it, I went through and tested everything and tried everything to make sure everything worked. This controller not only works, but it is actually a really decent joystick controller with micro switches in it, because I can tell it has micro switches in it because I can hear them when you go. And so I know that to be a very good joystick controller if it has micro switches built in. Because being the big Neo Geo fan that I am, Neo Geo's arcade stick controllers, the joysticks, also were made with micro switches and would make that same exact clicking sound. And I love it. It is music to my ears. And believe it or not, I tested this controller on the NES 101 top loader, and I played, and the game I tested it out with was Galaga on NES. Super fun to play using this joystick controller with. Super fun. I had so much fun freaking playing that. It should have been illegal. And last but not least, getting back to the main point of this video story, the NES 101 top loader. Does it work? Yes. Yes, it does. It works flawlessly and beautifully. I'm going to do close-up shots now of this console, and that's going to basically do it for this video. Now, for reference, guys, this console was a little dirty. It wasn't this clean. I did actually clean it and make it look this good. But, you know, for reference, it wasn't that bad. I mean, okay, there's some dirt and stuff in the cartridge slot. But you know what? Outer casing-wise, it is a very clean console. Look at that. It's even still got the serial sticker stamped or on the bottom of it. Now, to those of you who are watching this video who know about the NES 101 top loader and know the whole conspiracy story about the RF port sucked, and a lot of people complained and sent these back to Nintendo, and they supposedly modded them with red, yellow, and white composite AV ports straight on the back. You know, then you'll probably know that what this console little guy is worth. To those of you who are watching that don't know about this console and what it's worth, well, here's an idea. Like I said multiple times, before recording this video, I looked up the values of both of these games and this console. Now, this console, loose with cords and a controller, I think is worth about $150 or so, give or take. The fact that I have its original instruction manual boosted the price up so much that this console with the cords, controllers, and instruction manual is valued at about $260. Let that sink in for a minute. $260. They were going to throw this out, and this out, along with both of those controllers. And those two Genesis consoles, and some other Genesis games. They weren't really that good, and the Comic Zone game on top of that. They were just going to throw everything out. And you see, I really can't get mad at them or blame them for going to throw this stuff out, because they couldn't take it with them, number one. Number two, they didn't think it was of any value. And number three, all three of those brothers were so, you know, they were so much older than me in their lives. You know, why would they sit down to play video games? They wouldn't. So I guess those three main reasons are why they were going to throw this stuff out originally. But I have never been so happy to know about old school and retro video games and to know what I'm looking at, that I knew there was value in all of this stuff and to save it from being thrown out in the trash. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for pretty much this video. That was the whole main topic of this video, saving these two games and those controllers and the Comic Zone game from all being thrown out in the trash. But it was mainly talking about the NES 101 top loader console, but the 3 games and the 2 controllers did also have to deal with that because it all came at the same time and from the same people. So, whew. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know down below in the comments section, do you happen to own a NES 101 top loader? And do you happen to own Sunset Riders on Sega Genesis? Or Ninja Gaiden Shadow on original Game Boy? If so, please let me know down below in the comments section, and especially what you think of these games and what you think of the NES 101 top loader console. And wow, that was a little bit lengthy of a video, but you know what? I'm happy I made it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and take care.